After binding myself to the melon-eating system upon entering the story, my innermost thoughts were inadvertently overheard by the entire family of the domineering CEO. My second brother is truly foolish, which decent man remains erect after a drunken stupor. Wake up, she is carrying a child that is not yours at all. And my elder sister. Not only has she been emotionally manipulated by her husband, but she is also expected to support his illegitimate child truly. She has her own unique way of thriving on soft rice. As for Lu Qi, if he dislikes me so much, why not just divorce me? I was contemplating finding a young pup or a wolf cub after our separation, just imagining those abs. That evening, Lu Qi entered my room wrapped in a towel, his earlobes tinged with a faint blush, his demeanor innocent. Wife, let me touch you. .01. In the dead of night, Lu Qi pulled me from my warm cocoon. What are you doing? Disturbing my peaceful dreams at this hour. Before me, Lu Qi donned dark loungewear, his tousled hair falling over his forehead, his expression a blend of affection and exasperation. You've caused trouble, come downstairs. With me, his voice was warm and melodious, akin to shards of jade striking a plate. Lu Qi is my husband, and to be frank, I rather admire his visage. At this hour, he must be troubled by that little white lotus girlfriend of my second brother, who has probably concocted another sob story to present to him. I thought to myself, visibly irritated. Just the idea of encountering that white lotus vexed me. Lu Qi suddenly spoke. If you come down with me now, I will consider the divorce. When I transmigrated into the original owner's body, she was being slandered by the rich heiress who secretly harbored feelings for Lu Qi. The marriage between the original owner and Lu Qi was a mere formality, devoid of love from either side. Lu Qi had expressed his desire to divorce me. The divorce agreement stipulated that Lu Qi would compensate me with 500 million after our separation. Though I was infuriated by the slander, the compensation was rather substantial. I could shoulder this blame. 500 million. With that sum, I could hire multiple male models. Idea of a go at both young pups and wolf cubs, preferably those with 8-pack abs. I was quite satisfied with this monetary compensation. Thus, I consented to the divorce. To my surprise, Lu Qi suddenly retracted his statement, opting instead to uncover the truth, leading to the rich heiress facing legal repercussions, and he even apologized to me. From that point onward, no matter how I tempted him with the idea of divorce, he remained resolute. Now, he was finally open to consideration. A spark of hope ignited within me. Let's go downstairs. Wait a moment. Lu Qi halted me, and in that fleeting moment our gazes met. He turned his head aside, his exposed earlobes turning a shade of red. You should button up. I was taken aback. Looking down, I felt heat rise to my face. A button had come undone, revealing a patch of pristine skin. So I had been facing Lu Qi like that just now? All right, let's head down. I fastened my button, feigning calmness. I followed behind Lu Qi, gazing at the crimson hue adorning his ears. I mused. So, even a domineering CEO can feel shy? If he were to discover that nothing transpired between us that night, we were inebriated, wouldn't he be overjoyed? With a thud while descending the staircase, Lu Qi unexpectedly stumbled. Are you all right? I feigned concern, but inwardly I couldn't help but chuckle. Serves you right for refusing to agree to the divorce. I'm fine, Lu Qi replied, his expression darkening, seemingly gritting his teeth. My second brother is waiting for us. Upon arriving in the living room, the little white lotus girlfriend of my second brother, Lu Jin, tearfully began. Guji, I don't know what I did to provoke you. Why must you meddle in my relationship with a Jin? Ji and I are genuinely in love. Even if you cannot accept me, you shouldn't claim that the child I'm carrying isn't a Jin's. 02. Lu Jin is an artist, inclined towards sentimentality, and has been emotionally invested without having experienced romance for many years. Zhang Kenny, employing various tactics and sweet words, somehow managed to make Lu Jin regard her as his muse, transforming him into a quintessential romantic fool. Their relationship oscillated between reconciliation and estrangement. Until recently, when Lu Jin unexpectedly announced at the dinner table his intention to marry Zhang Kenny. Lu's parents expressed their reservations regarding Zhang Kenny, especially given her previous romantic entanglements. In a moment of revelation, Lu Jin dropped a bombshell. Kenny is pregnant with my child. Unfortunately, I had a history with Zhang Kenny. I could not bear to see Lu Jin, this lovesick fool, manipulated by her, so I voiced my skepticism. My second brother is so naive. He believes everything she says. Instead of being preoccupied with her, he should pay more attention to what Zhang Kenny has been up to during your absence. Lu's parents concurred. Gigi is right. Whether the child is yours is still uncertain. If you truly wish to marry her, you should undergo a paternity test. Suddenly, Lu Jin left the table, his face darkened. Seeing my second brother so infatuated with Zhang Kenny, it seemed evident that he had been brainwashed by her cunning tactics. Unable to complete the paternity test, he might even blame himself for doubting Zhang Kenny. Zhang Kenny leaned into Lu Jin's embrace, feigning a victim of injustice. Gu Ji, you are slandering me. Lu Jin glared at me, his expression stern. Gu Ji, apologize to Kenny.
Huh?
What am I slandering her about? Second brother. I never claimed that the child in her womb is not yours. I merely expressed my doubts, I replied with a blink. Isn't she just a white lotus? It's not like anyone can't see through her act. Miss Zhang was involved in rumors during your breakup. I am merely considering our family's reputation, second brother. With the vast enterprises of the Lu family, if she carries our child, it would be one thing, but if not. I trailed off, rolling my eyes internally. Second brother, you truly disappoint me. I thought you would seek clarity, but it seems you have been completely fooled. Lu's father, his expression grave, interjected, your sister-in-law is correct. If you wish to marry her, you must first conduct a paternity test. Zhang Kenny wept. Ajin, I have only ever loved you. How can they doubt our child? I acknowledge that rumors have circulated about me, but that was due to work. I have never wronged you. Lu Jin tenderly consoled Zhang Kenny, wiping her tears with a pained expression. He stood his ground. Dad, your words humiliate Kenny. Lu's father fixed a piercing gaze on Zhang Kenny, making her shrink behind Lu Jin. If you wish to marry, you must have a paternity test. I chimed in after Lu's father. If Miss Zhang claims she has never wronged you, then undergoing a paternity test should pose no issue. If she continually evades it, could it be a sign of guilt? For a fleeting moment, panic flickered across Zhang Kenny's face, but she quickly leveraged her advantages. With teary eyes, she lamented to Lu Jin. Ajin, must I submit to their doubts? Your family is being exceedingly oppressive. Her tears fell incessantly, and her demeanor of profound grievance shattered Lu Jin's resolve. He consoled her while glaring at us. Mom and Dad, I am profoundly disappointed in you. His demeanor was no surprise to me. Sigh. Second brother is indeed a romantic fool. He still does not comprehend that her reluctance to undergo the test stems from her guilt. After all, on the day of your breakup, she had numerous appointments. And even she might be unaware of who the father of her child is. If you doubt this, coax her into taking the test, and she will immediately threaten to terminate the pregnancy. Standing by to watch this drama unfold is exhausting. I wish I could sit down with some snacks. Let them handle the matters concerning the second son. Come, sit with me, Lu's mother said, inviting me to take a seat. The table was laden with sunflower seeds and peanuts, and my eyes brightened as I eagerly took my place. Passing by Lu Qi, I noticed him engrossed in his phone. This man is so dull. Even now, he is preoccupied with work. Upon seeing me, his expression conveyed a sense of resignation. Lu's mother interjected. Lu Jin, our family has never had a case of premarital pregnancy. Since you have broken this precedent and wish to bring her into the family, we must acknowledge the child she carries. Despite Lu's mother's gentle demeanor, her words commanded respect, and no one in the Lu family dared to disregard them. Lu Jin found himself in a quandary. After a moment of hesitation, he gently reassured Zhang Kenny. Kenny, since the child is mine, let us undergo a paternity test to dispel our parents' doubts. Before he could finish, Zhang Kenny slapped him across the face. You scoundrel. You don't trust me either. If that is the case, there is nothing left to discuss. I will terminate the pregnancy. Better that than having the child face baseless slander. I chuckled inwardly. Ha ha. I told you she would use this tactic to retreat and advance. Could second brother genuinely believe that the child in her womb is his? He should not be so love-struck. At such a young age, he should not be stepping into fatherhood. If she intends to terminate the pregnancy, just play along with her. Do you believe she will not threaten to sever ties? The atmosphere suddenly grew tense. Just as everyone expected Lu Jin to relent, including myself, he lifted his head. Fine, then we will terminate the pregnancy. 03. Zhang Kerson's expression was one of disbelief. Miss Zhang, if you are unwilling to undergo a paternity test and cannot provide evidence that the child is Lu Jin's, then terminating the pregnancy is indeed a viable option. Lu's mother added with a smile. Otherwise, the news of your premarital pregnancy would not be well received. I silently gave her a thumbs up. What a formidable matriarch. Zhang Kenny will surely threaten to break up. She would not dare to terminate the pregnancy. Among all her past entanglements, Lu Jin's status is the highest. This is her only leverage to secure a place in the Lu family. Lu Jin, I have truly misjudged you. Zhang Kenny fiercely wiped her tears, adopting a defiant demeanor as if wronged. You are not worthy of my lifelong trust. I will raise the child alone. Let us part ways.
See.
I told you she would use a breakup as leverage. After the breakup, she will not terminate the pregnancy. My second brother, the romantic fool, will become anxious and insecure. And before long, Zhang Kenny may worm her way back into his heart, leading him to fall again. By then, it will be too late to terminate the pregnancy. For reasons unknown, Lu Jin's expression was one of turmoil and conflict. I expected him to instinctively try to hold on. Just as the two were embroiled in their emotional struggle, the usually silent Lu Qi suddenly spoke up. Miss Zhang, you have repeatedly asserted that the child in your womb belongs to my second brother. How do you explain this video from July 5th? July 5th? Isn't that the day my second brother broke up with her? I recall she had 3 financial backers scheduled on that day. Lu Qi managed to procure the video? Impressive, I want to see it too. I craned my neck, realizing that the sunflower seeds in my hand had lost their flavor. Zhang Kenny's complexion turned ashen. Her gaze evasive. What video? I don't know. You are slandering me. You are all bullying me, boo-hoo. Suddenly, she began to wail and seized Lu Qi's phone, smashing it to the ground. I curled my lips in disdain, thinking to myself, such abysmal acting. She must have intentionally ruined it out of fear that Lu Jin would see the video. Lu Jin stepped forward to stop her. Kenny, please calm down. Lu Jin, if you don't trust me either, then let's break up. With those words, Zhang Kenny covered her face and ran out in tears, running away so quickly. Afraid of being exposed, I suppose. I observed my second brother's pained expression, clearly wishing to chase after her, and couldn't help but feel a twinge of sympathy. Oh, my dear second brother, you've been deceived. You and she haven't shared anything substantial. That day, when you woke up in the hotel after drinking too much, it was all orchestrated by Zhang Kenny. Even more absurd, while you were sound asleep, she was next door with her benefactor. Did you really think you could be the one to bring her to bed after getting drunk? How could one possibly perform while intoxicated, just like Lu Qi, utterly lacking in common sense? As a virgin, how could you possibly get Zhang Kenny pregnant? I wondered what Lu Jin was thinking. His expression a tumultuous blend of agony and numbness, his face shifting like a stormy sky. At last, he shot me a furious glare and, with long strides, chased after her. Why is he glaring at me? I pondered, utterly perplexed. Upon glancing back, I noticed Lu Dad and Lu Mom wore equally nuanced expressions, especially when they gazed at Lu Qi. Lu Qi's handsome face darkened. Enough noise, your chatter is as ineffective as a sunflower seed in blocking your mouth. I closed my eyes, enduring. Oh, sharp-tongued man, just wait. I intend to divorce you and find a sweet-talking little puppy to dote on. Thus, the farce came to an end. As I prepared to retire to my room, Lu Qi blocked the doorway, preventing me from closing the door. Is there something you need? Lu Qi appeared somewhat awkward, a flush creeping onto his face. Are you thirsty? Would you like some milk? I was taken aback. Milk? Is it the kind I think it is? 04. Is this truly the aloof CEO I once knew? Could he have been possessed by some unsavory spirit? Or perhaps, is Lu Qi regretting the divorce?
Cool.
Scoundrel, unwilling to love me, yet desiring to engage with me. I see you're reluctant to part with that 5 billion. Just get out of my sight. To my astonishment, as I pushed Lu Qi away, the creamy liquid spilled all over him. I stood there, dumbfounded. It really is milk? Lu Qi seemed to be laughing in irritation. What else did you think it was? I hurriedly grabbed a tissue to help him wipe his clothes. It's not my fault for thinking otherwise. Why are you blushing over offering milk? It would be odd if I didn't misinterpret the situation. Lu Qi fell silent, perhaps aware of his own awkwardness. The milk had splashed across his chest, and as I wiped, my attention wandered.
Wow.
I actually touched it. That must be his abs. I didn't expect Lu Qi, with his seemingly lean physique, to have such commendable abs. Hahaha, so this is how abs feel. Once I'm divorced, I'll find a few male models to touch every day. Just as I was enjoying the sensation of his abs, my wrist was suddenly gripped tightly by Lu Qi. A chill raced up my spine. So engrossed in my exploration, I had forgotten this was Lu Qi. I slowly lifted my gaze. As my eyes skimmed past the buttons of his loungewear, 2 of them came undone, revealing a tantalizing glimpse of his chest muscles. Just above, I could see the prominent movement of his Adam's apple as he swallowed. Oh no, he must be furious. Yet, when I met his gaze, I found that he was not as angry as I had imagined. Instead, his face was flushed, his deep-set eyes shimmering with a glimmer of vulnerability. Goodness. I'm so tempted to tease him a little. Guji, please don't provoke me. His voice was husky. You know I don't want to divorce you. Upon hearing this, my mind cleared considerably. Is this the conclusion you've reached? Suddenly, I lost interest in continuing the conversation, shaking off his grip and turning to walk away. You obviously don't care for me, so why prolong this charade? Scoundrel. However, Lu Qi grasped my arm once more. If we don't divorce, I'll give you an extra 10 million every month. His tone was sincere. What do you say? How much? I halted in my tracks. 10 million transferred to your personal account, and additionally, you can freely use my supplementary card. I chuckled. 10 million? Do you think I'm that superficial? Lu Qi added. If 10 million doesn't satisfy you, then. I interrupted him. Lu Qi, you know me too well. I am indeed that shallow. I reconsidered, realizing that perhaps this marriage didn't have to end after all. So, when will that 10 million be deposited into my account? 05. I didn't delve into why Lu Qi was reluctant to divorce. With the prospect of extra income, why would I refuse? However, reality proved that money is not so easily obtained. Recently, I found myself either accompanying Lu Qi to various banquets or parading our affection for all to see. It was unavoidable. The admirers of the domineering CEO were numerous. He required me, his legitimate wife, as a shield. It was exhausting. Yet the high society figures that surrounded Lu Qi were all rife with juicy gossip. Who could resist indulging? I certainly relished every morsel of drama. Little did I expect that one day I would find myself at the center of the spectacle. Look at her, dressed like a country bumpkin. How could she possibly deserve to be Mr. Lu's wife? Exactly. She's been eating nonstop since she arrived, as if she's never seen food before. Utterly unrefined. I don't find her attractive at all. With that level of looks, she's no match for Sister Muyu. I heard Sister Muyu is returning to the country. Do you think Mr. Lu will abandon her for Muyu? I checked the name they were discussing in the gossip mill. Qin Muyu. Ah. So she was Lu Qi's childhood sweetheart. Just then, Lu Qi descended the stairs. And I immediately wrapped my arm around his, displaying a show of affection, and boldly asked him in front of everyone. Lu Qi, I heard your childhood friend Qin Muyu is coming back. Aren't they curious if you would abandon me for her? Observing the awkward and pale expressions on those women's faces, I inwardly chuckled. What is the point of speculating in whispers over there? I'll just ask Lu Qi directly. In fact, I secretly hope that when Qin Muyu returns, something will happen between them so I can finally get my divorce. In that moment, Lu Qi's expression darkened, his sharp gaze sweeping over the crowd. I could sense his displeasure. There's no need for concern. My wife and I share a strong bond. We will never divorce. The crowd fell silent, their faces awkward as they prepared to apologize, but Lu Qi pulled me away, denying them the opportunity. Wait. Why does he seem a bit angry? Once inside the car, Lu Qi's demeanor remained frosty. Qin Muyu and I are merely acquaintances. Do not listen to their nonsense. There's nothing between us. After a brief pause, Lu Qi began to explain. Oh, don't worry, I didn't take it seriously. Perhaps my indifferent demeanor made him anxious, prompting him to reassure me. I mean it. If there was ever anything between us, it would have happened long ago. I wholeheartedly agreed. That is true, but you needn't be so concerned. I did not misunderstand. Of course, even if something did happen between you, it wouldn't matter to me. We're just playing our parts. This response was exceedingly considerate. I felt quite pleased with my performance, yet upon glancing at Lu Qi, his expression seemed to darken further. I tentatively broke the silence, asking, Are you angry? He retorted, What do you think? I teased him. I'm the one being looked down upon, yet I'm not upset. How is it that you've become angry? It is precisely because you're not angry that I find myself infuriated, he replied. Suddenly, Lu Qi leaned closer, his penetrating gaze fixed intently on me. The proximity was almost overwhelming, a mere inch closer, and our noses would touch. My mind momentarily short-circuited. I felt I understood his words, yet at the same time, I was perplexed. What do you mean? Lu Qi murmured, They are eagerly anticipating our divorce, yet you remain unfazed. It seems you do not value our marriage. Ah. He had indeed struck a chord. I weakly replied, but I recall we entered into a marriage of convenience, did we not? Initially, Lu Qi believed that the original owner had schemed to ensnare him, leading to their entanglement. However, the reality was that both the original owner and Lu Qi had been betrayed by those around them. Through a twist of fate, they ended up sharing the same room for a night. Though nothing untoward occurred, yet the media sensationalized the incident. Out of a sense of obligation, Lu Qi wed the original owner, who consented to the marriage for the sake of her mother's medical treatment. Thus, their union was devoid of affection. It was hardly surprising that I did not take this marriage to heart. However, noticing Lu Qi's evident irritation, I refrained from voicing my thoughts. His brows furrowed tightly, and he seemed increasingly agitated, his breaths coming in quick bursts. He gazed at me sorrowfully, ultimately closing his eyes and releasing a long sigh. Forget it. Next time you hear such idle gossip, simply disregard it. With that, he instructed the driver to proceed. I was left in a state of confusion. Men's minds are as inscrutable as the depths of the ocean. That evening, Lu Jin returned home, looking disheveled and visibly shaken, as though he had endured a significant blow. Lu father, upon seeing his son's condition, erupted with anger. You've been gone for days without a word. How have you handled things? Have you forgotten everything we taught you? I glanced at Lu Qi, who merely shook his head. I need to find out what has transpired these past few days.
Oh.
Has the second brother finally seen through Zhang Kenny's deceitful nature? I had thought he was trying to win her back, but it seems he was investigating her instead. Tsk, Zhang Kenny has no shame. The pile of evidence is right in front of her, yet she shamelessly begs the second brother to marry her. And to think she claims that the child in her womb cannot be without a father, professing her love while granting him the dubious honor of being the child's dad. What nonsense! Does the second brother seem like someone who would willingly become a father under such circumstances? Thankfully, he has returned to his senses and severed ties with Zhang Kenny. Lu Jin stood there, dejected, and apologized to everyone. Turning to me, he especially expressed his remorse. Sister-in-law, I misjudged you. I owe you an apology. Your suspicions were indeed justified. Kenny is truly carrying another man's child. As he spoke, his eyes suddenly glistened with tears. She professed her love for me while deceiving me all along. Lu mother pulled Lu Jin close, comforting him gently. Love can be a treacherous affair, especially for the second brother, who had invested his whole heart, only to face betrayal and profound hurt. Yet, the silver lining is that he has escaped from his torment. I reassured him, second brother, do not be too sorrowful. Such a woman is not worth your tears. Think of it this way. The next one will be even better. More understanding. Upon hearing my words, Lu Jin immediately choked up. I wished to offer him further comfort when I keenly sensed a perilous gaze directed at me. Lu Qi looked down at me from his imposing height, asking, "Is that your sentiment as well?"
What?
He abruptly fell silent, merely casting me a glance before turning to ascend the staircase. I was left speechless. I had thought life would proceed in a mundane manner, until one day, Qin Muyu returned from abroad and sought me out. True to her reputation as a renowned star, she possessed a striking and assertive beauty. Her purpose was simple, to pay a visit to me, her sister-in-law. However, her demeanor was far from cordial. I've heard you resorted to underhanded tactics to coerce Lu Qi into marrying you. If you were wise, you would know what to do. You won't be able to hold onto the position of Lu Qi's wife for long. So, that's why those gossips believed I would be cast aside upon her return. It seems Qin Muyu has been cultivating a false impression that Lu Qi harbors feelings for her. Clearly, she is infatuated with him, yet lacks the courage to express it, coming to me while secretly avoiding Lu Qi. Recognizing her true nature, I smiled and said, "I believe you are mistaken. Do you think I cherish this position? If it weren't for Lu Qi begging me to stay in this marriage, I would have left long ago. Alas, he loves me too dearly. You have no idea. I only agreed to remain married due to his persistent persuasion." Qin Muyu's expression contorted in disbelief. "You're talking nonsense. How could Lu Qi possibly have feelings for you?" Such impatience revealed her inadequacy. I provocatively suggested, "Why not? Miss Qin, go speak to Lu Qi on my behalf. Tell him I'm quite eager to divorce. I wonder how he would respond to you." The notion that Lu Qi deeply loves me and implores me not to divorce him would undoubtedly be a bitter pill for Qin Muyu to swallow. She arrived like a proud swan, but left in utter disarray. How laughable, attempting to contend with me while I could see through her entire facade. What a folly! To my surprise, Qin Muyu indeed approached Lu Qi. "I've heard you are utterly in love with her, begging her not to divorce you?" Lu Qi's expression was one of amusement, while I felt utterly mortified. I merely mentioned it in passing. Who knew she would take it seriously? To my astonishment, Lu Qi was not angered by my tarnishing of his reputation. Instead, he gently ruffled my hair. "Indeed, I am quite enamored with you. You have spoken the truth." I swatted his hand away in annoyance.
Stop that.
I wonder if such head pats will stunt my growth. By the way, with the new year approaching, my sister will be returning soon. She is quite an excellent cook. You might want to look forward to her specialties. The Liu family consists of 3 siblings. Liu Yi, the eldest sister, is graceful and kind-hearted, married to a university professor, Li Zhao. The couple shares a harmonious relationship, treating each other with respect. I suspect Li Zhao will accompany her back this time. Not long after Liu Qi finished speaking, the following morning, I was awakened by a commotion downstairs. Having resided here for quite some time, I knew that the Liu family upheld a strict decorum, making such early morning disturbances highly unusual. What could have happened? After freshening up, I opened the door only to find Liu Qi ascending the stairs with a bowl of soy milk. Did I wake you? Here, have some to tide you over. Eldest sister has returned, and there has been a bit of trouble. Breakfast may not be possible this morning. His expression was grave, prompting me not to inquire further. After finishing the soy milk, I accompanied him downstairs. In the living room, Liu mother occupied the main seat, and I had never seen her with such a grim countenance. Li Zhao, is this how you treat the precious daughter I entrusted to you? Li Zhao, the university professor, was a refined individual, sporting gold-rimmed glasses, impeccably styled hair, and dressed in a tailored suit, exuding an air of cultured elegance. Faced with a stern inquiry from Mother Liu, he maintained a composed demeanor as he replied, I understand that the idea of adopting a child may be somewhat difficult for you both to accept. However, this is a decision made by AIE and myself, and we kindly ask for your support. Father Liu turned to the eldest sister. What are your thoughts? Dad, Mom. I don't know, she stammered. Beside her, the eldest sister Liu Yi bit her lip, her eyes red as though she had been crying. Next to Li Zhao stood a proud little boy. Observing from the sidelines, I struggled to grasp the intricacies of the situation. Just as I was about to consult the gossip system, Liu Qi leaned in to whisper the unfolding story in my ear. It turned out that Li Zhao had suddenly proposed adopting a child from the orphanage, specifically the boy standing beside him. He intended to adopt this little boy, but needed to first gauge the Liu family's willingness. After all, his current success was largely due to the support of the Liu family. Only with the family's acknowledgement could the child's inheritance be secured. Conversely, if the Liu family recognized this child, they would be obliged to provide assistance in the future. Yet, the eldest sister's stance was ambiguous, and her words and actions conveyed her dissatisfaction with Li Zhao's unilateral decision to bring the child into the Liu household. Li Zhao adjusted his glasses and remarked, AIE. We had already discussed this when we came here. In the future, when we grow old, little Ing will be there to care for us. But we had agreed to be child-free, not to have children or adopt. Liu Yi hesitated before finally voicing her objection. Yet, we will inevitably grow old. Who will care for us then? Li Zhao's tone was gentle. You initially said you didn't want children, and I bore the family pressure to agree. Given how well I've treated you, shouldn't you also consider my feelings? For some reason, witnessing his demeanor filled me with a sense of dissonance. The words he spoke left the eldest sister feeling uneasy. I could see her internal struggle. Something feels amiss. I see no trace of love for the eldest sister in Li Zhao's demeanor. I quickly browsed the gossip system. The revelations that emerged were infuriating. This so-called Phoenix man, who once wore a facade of virtue to win over my sister, has spent years living off her resources, only to betray her by seeking to adopt a child that is clearly his illegitimate offspring with his mistress. My sister, who once had such a pleasant disposition, has increasingly become indecisive since marrying him, evidently under the constant manipulation of this scoundrel. He claims she is incapable of even the simplest tasks, and only he would want her due to her sheltered upbringing. It is pitiful to see my sister, raised in luxury, gradually succumb to his insidious psychological manipulation, doing his laundry and cooking without complaint, too afraid to speak up even when scolded. Moreover, this child is not merely from an orphanage. He is blatantly the illegitimate child of him and his mistress. In my heart, I vehemently condemned Li Zhao, unaware of the sudden stiffness in my sister's expression. Father Liu slammed his hand on the table in anger. Are you threatening my daughter? I assure you, there will be no adoption of this child. Mother Liu coldly interjected. With our family's resources, do you truly worry about your future security? Liu Qi also stepped forward. Do you think with my presence, your concerns about aging will be an issue? Facing the onslaught from the Liu family, Li Zhao maintained a smile. Mom, Dad, while that may be the case, having a child to converse with in old age is truly a blessing. AIE, what do you think? He tossed the question back to the eldest sister. My anxiety surged. Scoundrel. If you believe having a child to talk to in old age is so desirable, why did you agree to remain child-free when you married? Are you not merely interested in the wealth and support that the Liu family provides? In the midst of all eyes upon her, my sister held her head in her hands, tears streaming down her face. I don't know, please, don't ask me. Father Liu, frustrated, pressed. You simply need to tell me whether you wish to adopt this child. Just as my sister was about to respond, Li Zhao's expression suddenly turned cold. AIE. Did we not already discuss this at home? Do you intend to backtrack? I could no longer bear to witness him bully my sister. Brother-in-law. It seems my sister's attitude reflects her reluctance. Why are you pressuring her? Since you both agreed to be child-free, how can you now insist on adopting a child? This appears to be a betrayal on your part, yet I see no sign of remorse in your demeanor. Moreover, you are still young. Why the rush to adopt this child? He seems quite healthy, unlike a typical orphan. Could there be something amiss? The last remark visibly unsettled Li Zhao for a fleeting moment, yet he masked it well. How could that be? I am merely preparing for the future. My anger boiled over. This man is utterly disgusting. He has thrived on my sister's sacrifices, yet has sought a mistress outside, even fathering a child with her. It did not take long after their marriage for him to father this child with his mistress. I could not have anticipated his audacity in wanting to bring this child home for my sister to raise. What was this? Supporting the child of his mistress with my sister's resources? I was infuriated on my sister's behalf. Under the persistent urging of Father and Mother Liu, my sister finally shook her head and cried out, I do not wish to adopt this child. Li Zhao's expression shifted visibly, darkening. It seems you are not considering our family. He feigned a sigh. After all these years, whatever you say goes. I have no room to question or refuse. Perhaps it would be best for us to divorce, since the decisions I make as your husband seem to hold no importance to you. Li Zhao displayed a pretentious demeanor of hurt and sadness that made me want to gag. Ugh. What a farce. He was a master of disguise. But this tactic of retreating to advance left my sister pale. I do not wish for a divorce. Sister, please wake up. He is using the threat of divorce to coerce you, and this is his illegitimate child. Can't you see the reality? Alas, my sister cannot hear my thoughts. She remains oblivious to the true nature of this scoundrel. I must devise a plan to expose his actions. Just as I contemplated my next move, Lu Qi's voice broke through. Brother-in-law, I have thought it over, and we can acknowledge this child, but only if you undergo a paternity test. My eyes lit up. Of course, a paternity test. What a brilliant tactic. How did I not think of that sooner? Li Zhao feigned deep hurt. Ah Qi, are you doubting me? My feelings for your sister are sincere, as strong as ever. Such thoughts not only question my integrity, but also your sister's judgment. Wow, what a load of nonsense. I nearly applauded. That is not the case, brother-in-law. Ah Qi only proposed this method because he trusts both you and the sister. I chimed in with a smile, delivering a pointed remark. Without this step, how can we dispel the doubts of Dad, Mom, and the sister? Did he truly think that gaining the Liu family's acknowledgement of this child merely required my sister's consent? Mother Liu also chimed in. If you are truly intent on adopting this child, then a paternity test is necessary. Li Zhao fell into silence for a moment, unexpectedly producing a certificate from his pocket. This matter has long been settled. Here is the paternity test result between myself, and this child, indicating no blood relation. How astute of him to have prepared in advance. This fellow is quite cunning, preemptively arranging a falsified result, waiting until our doubts arose to present it. He is banking on our reluctance to press further for another test. Otherwise, the reputation of the Liu family would be tarnished. This certificate is utterly fraudulent. He has bribed the doctor to fabricate a false result. The expressions of the Liu family members darkened considerably. Lu Qi, lost in thought, exchanged a glance with Father Liu before retreating upstairs. It seems Li Zhao is resolutely intent on adopting this child. Even more disconcerting is his apparent confidence that the Liu family would acquiesce to his demands, prompting him to have the boy step forward for display. It was laughable. The child's demeanor was replete with an air of I am destined to be a wealthy heir, yet he feigned obedience. Is this the expression of a well-behaved child? Indeed, it is apparent as blind adoration for their precious offspring. I suspect this child has been thoroughly coached by Li Zhao and Qian Mingming. Suddenly, the eldest sister shrieked, frantically tugging at the boy's collar. That necklace. That necklace. Li Zhao, you must explain yourself. Why is your student's necklace on him? I had not noticed the necklace hanging from the boy's neck until she pointed it out. I must commend the eldest sister's sharpness. How could she not have realized it sooner? Li Xiao has been unfaithful. His student Qian Mengmeng has been his mistress for 5 years. If you do not divorce this despicable phoenix man, I shall lose all respect for you. A flicker of panic crossed Li Xiao's eyes. Something flashed in my mind and I chuckled. So that is the truth. I understand now. The young boy desperately attempted to reclaim the necklace. Yet the eldest sister was too agitated to relent. The child, accustomed to throwing tantrums at home, quickly revealed his true colors. He shoved the eldest sister aside, fuming. This necklace was given to me by my mother. I knew it. You and your student Qian Mengmeng are entangled in a scandal, the eldest sister accused, pointing at Li Xiao. Li Xiao, you must explain yourself. Please calm down. It's merely a necklace. There are countless identical ones on the street. This is just a coincidence. Unfortunately, Li Xiao's defense failed to convince anyone present. I interrupted him, leaning down to whisper something in the child's ear. In the next moment, he charged at Li Xiao, throwing punches and collapsing on the ground in a fit of tears. Daddy, you lied to me. You and Mommy deceived me. I don't want to stay here. I want to go home. Take me home. The utterance of Daddy left the eldest sister pale as a ghost. You have betrayed me. Li Xiao, speechless, struck the child in a fit of rage, losing all semblance of calm. Listen to me. How could I possibly betray you? This is all a misunderstanding. How can you think this of me? I have made such great sacrifices for you. All I desire is this one wish, and you cannot fulfill it for me? What a scoundrel! Even at this juncture, he attempts to manipulate my sister. If you dare betray my sister, I will end you. Second brother Lu Jin, roused from his slumber, had been in a foul mood since being deceived. Now he had found a perfect outlet for his frustration. Li Xiao endured several punches from Lu Jin, prompting the child to rush in, crying, "Bad man, don't hit my daddy. Daddy, let us go home to find Mommy. Don't sell me. I will behave." At a crucial moment, Lu Qi declared, "I have already investigated the institution that conducted the test. You bribed the staff to forge the results." Li Xiao, do you have anything else to say? Lu Jin, hearing this, grew even angrier. "I will end you, you wretched phoenix man." Li Xiao shamelessly continued his tirade, claiming that I could not provide him with the warmth he desired, that he married an ungrateful woman, that I looked down on him, and that he wished to have children, but I refused. He even absurdly insisted that the child's mother seduced him, leading him to lose control. Fortunately, the eldest sister had seen through his charade, refusing to even glance at him again. "Since you are so dissatisfied with me, then let us divorce." Li Xiao, however, was unwilling to part ways. All the years he had invested were built on the foundation of exploiting the Lu family's resources. He begged, tears streaming down his face. Hypocrite. A man who lives off others. Prepare to face the consequences of divorce with nothing. Defeated, Li Xiao left with the child. Awaiting him would be the repercussions from the Lu family. I, with reddened eyes, took my hand. "Gigi, I owe you a debt of gratitude for helping me see his true nature." I blinked. Hee, it's unavoidable. Children are so easily deceived. Luma was curious. "What did you say to him?" I told him that his parents no longer wanted him and intended to sell him. Li Xiao's demeanor truly resembled that of someone attempting to sell a child. Everyone erupted in laughter. Even Lu Qi wore a slight smile, his eyes gleaming with mirth. In truth, it was Qian Mengmeng who was overly eager to win. She believed Li Xiao's claims, thinking I was merely a pawn in his game. Even if she knew the child was hers, there would be nothing she could do. Thus, she deliberately had the child wear that necklace to flaunt her superiority over I. Little did they know, it was precisely this necklace that would unravel their scheme. 11. The situation was perfectly resolved. Li Xiao's infidelity led to his downfall, leaving him with nothing as he faced scrutiny for his moral character and was subsequently dismissed from his position at the school. Word has it that he faced numerous rejections in his job search, spending his days at home abusing Qian Mengmeng. Not long after, Qian Mengmeng entangled herself with another lover, resulting in Li Xiao suffering a broken leg, after which she revealed to him a secret. In truth, that child was not even Li Xiao's biological son. The test results he presented were accurate. Li Xiao, under the delusion that he had bribed the testing personnel, was unaware that Qian Mengmeng had outsmarted him, playing him like a fool. This revelation was later shared with me by Lu Qi. I nearly laughed myself into a frenzy. 12. In the ensuing days, Lu Qi seemed to have undergone a transformation. Each evening after work, he would bring me flowers from the florist, causing Lu Ba and Lu Ma to regard me with newfound intrigue. Upon returning from business trips, he would also present me with local gifts, sometimes food, sometimes luxuries. Until one day, he brought back flowers that triggered an allergic reaction, leaving me covered in rashes. I could no longer tolerate it and confronted him. Do you think I acquired this 10 million too easily, and are you seeking revenge on me? Lucci appeared embarrassed. I misjudged you before. It was my fault, and I wanted to make amends. However, he failed to realize that I was specifically allergic to roses. I decided to give up. Lucci, perhaps we should just divorce. I cannot adjust to this. Lucci shook his head, silently expressing his refusal. My mother has passed. I no longer need your money for her treatment, and you have clarified that nothing transpired between us. I was puzzled. Why are you unwilling to divorce? Lucci remained silent. Could it be a matter of finances? If it's about money, I can forego the 5 billion compensation, I resolved. Let what is not mine slip away. Fortunately, I still possess 10 million, sufficient to sustain me for the rest of my life. Perhaps with some savings. I could even hire a few male models. Lucci suddenly spoke up. Guji, what do you think of me? His expression was earnest. To be honest, Lucci truly embodies my ideal type. Whether in terms of appearance, height, charisma, or his character and demeanor, I hold him in high regard and find him immensely likable. I replied candidly, you're quite good, possessing both wealth and looks. Crucially, he maintains his integrity and possesses a certain innocence. I do have a penchant for that. So, would you consider giving us a try? Lucci's face visibly flushed. I wish to pursue you. May I have a chance? Thus, after much contemplation, all those bouquets and gifts he had bestowed upon me were part of his courtship? I gazed at him, finding it quite difficult to refuse. He is both affluent and attractive, with a heart as pure as a blank canvas, and I have sensed his sincerity during our time together. Besides, I have no one I am particularly fond of. Perhaps I should give it a try? Lucci, feeling the weight of my gaze, said, if you truly find it difficult, I can give you time to consider. No need for consideration. I grant you this opportunity. Yet, I felt compelled to ask him one question. You must like me as a person, rather than just my appearance, correct? Otherwise, how could you muster the courage to confess to me with this face covered in blemishes? Lucci's brows relaxed, a smile gracing his lips. As long as it is you, I cherish it all. Ever since we opened our hearts to each other, Lucci has become quite affectionate. He indeed knows how to cater to my preferences, returning with treasures of great worth. Luma patted my hand, imparting her wisdom. This rascal has finally come to his senses. You must seize this moment and not relent too quickly. A man, if given too easily, may not cherish what he has later. Truly, Luma speaks with profound insight. Little did Lucci know that his own mother was cleverly setting him up. One evening, intoxicated, Lucci insisted on sharing the bed with me. Other couples sleep together. Why can't we? His face was a picture of grievance, and my heart softened, allowing him to join me. Lucci claimed he had a secret to share. I leaned in, but he only dared to plant a fleeting kiss upon my lips. Retreating like a timid turtle into the covers, his ears flushed a deep crimson. Weren't you going to tell me a secret? Yes. I'll secretly tell you that I can hear your heart's voice. I was taken aback. Then you must know that I am not the original Guji? He leaned closer. I know. The one I have always liked is you, not her. Now, that was more like it. With his words, this marriage could indeed continue. Upon waking the next day, I opened my eyes to find Lucci propped up on his elbow, looking at me with tender adoration. Yet, in my mind, I suddenly heard his voice. What to do? My wife looks so adorable when she wakes. I long to kiss her. Lucci's lips were clearly still. I asked, ? So now it was my turn to hear his heart's voice? Goodness. What kind of domineering CEO has nothing but kisses on his mind? The story concludes here. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed it, please consider subscribing and liking to support. See you in the next tale.